Hello, good morning to all. I am Khaja Asifullah, lecturer in chemistry from Government Degree College, Falaknuma, Hyderabad. Today, I present a video lesson on chemical kinetics. It's the first lesson, part 1. So, introduction to chemical kinetics. Whenever we study a reaction, one of the important things which we need to know is the speed of the reaction or the velocity of the reaction or the rate at which the reaction proceeds. And also we need to know about the conditions like temperature, pressure of the system, and the concentration of the reacting species, that is reactants or the products, etc., under which the reaction proceeds at moderate or reasonable speed, not so fast, not so slow. The speed or velocity or the rate of a slow reaction is affected by conditions like temperature, pressure, concentration, catalyst, etc. If it is a system of gaseous state or the reacting species or reactants are present in gas form or gaseous form, then pressure influence much more. Otherwise, if it is in liquid or solid conditions, then pressure will not affect much. The study which deals with the measurements of the rate of reaction under the conditions like temperature, pressure, concentration, and catalyst, etc., is called as chemical kinetics. So it is the study of finding the rate of reaction. What is the rate of reaction? We know that when certain reactants meet or they are combined, they will start combining with each other. That means the old bonds of the atoms or molecules of the reactants will break down and the new bonds between the reacting molecules or atoms will form. How fast the old bonds break and how fast the new bonds will form, it is very important. So the rate of reaction is defined as change in concentration of the reactants or change in concentration of products per unit time. So it is the ratio between the change in concentration of the species to the unit time. Mathematically, the rate of reaction will be equal to the amount of reactants consumed, because reactants will be consumed, so the concentration of reactants will be decreasing as time proceeds. So rate of reaction is equal to amount of reactants consumed by time interval. Now, rate of reaction is also defined as the amount of product produced per unit time, or it is equal to amount of product produced by time interval. For example, if we take or consider a simple reaction like A gives B, or the reactants A will produce product B, then in that case, we have to consider the concentrations of the reactants and products. And concentrations or concentration terms can be represented either like Ca for concentration of A, that is concentration of reactant A, or it can be enclosed in square bracket. So both way we can represent the concentration terms. Similarly, concentration of product will be equal to Cb, or B written in square bracket. Now, as we just now said, reaction rate is equal to change in concentration of reactants by time in which that change takes place. Now, I told you as time proceeds, there will be decrease in the concentration of reactants. Therefore, rate of reaction with respect to reactants is, or it can be written as decrease in concentration of reactants by time in which the change takes place. And if we take products, so in terms of product, we can write the rate of reaction as equal to increase in concentration of product by time in which the change takes place. What is the change in concentration of product? It will increase. Why it will increase? Because as time passes, more and more products will form. As a result, its concentration will increase. Therefore, here we have taken Ca as concentration of reactant A and Cb as concentration of B. Therefore, we can write the rate as equal to Ca by time or Cb by time. But we know that a change in any quantity can be represented by delta. Similarly, change in concentration and also change in time or time period can be denoted or represented by delta C and delta T. Delta T is the time period or interval of time during which the change in concentration is taking place, and delta C is change in concentration. Therefore, the rate of reaction can be written as change in concentration by time interval, or R is equal to delta C by delta T. But when we study this in science, especially when we integrate or differentiate, we consider infinitesimally small changes in the quantity. So, the very small or infinitesimally small change can be represented by d. Therefore, the small change in concentration can be represented by dc, and the small change in time can be denoted by dt. Therefore, the rate of reaction R will be equal to dc by dt. Here delta represents only change, but here very small change or infinitesimally small change. Now, this graph shows you that concentration of product increases as time proceed or time goes on. As time increases, concentration of product increases. This red curve represents the concentration of product. It is increasing, and the concentration of reactants, which is represented by blue curve, is decreasing. with increase in time. As time passes, the concentration of reactant decreases. Now take this point, which is the origin, or at this point time is equal to 0 because it is x-axis. On x-axis we have taken time, on y-axis concentration of a species. So at the beginning, when time is equal to 0, there were no products. Why? Or the concentration of product is 0 here. Why? Because only reactant exists at that time. Means in the beginning or initial time t is equal to 0 seconds, only concentration of product, reactants is there. No product is formed, or the reaction is not yet started. So the concentration of reactant is very high. As time passes, reactants will get converted into product. Therefore, the concentration of product increases and the concentration of reactants decreases with time. So the rate of reaction at any given time can be written as R is equal to dx by dt, where x is concentration of species, R is rate of reaction, x is the concentration, dx will give you very small change in concentration of the species with respect to whom it is represented, and dt means very small time period. During that time period, a small change in concentration took place. Since the concentration of reactant A decreases with time, therefore we assign a negative sign to it. This sign, or the negative sign of concentration for reactants, only represent that there is decrease in concentration of reactants as time proceeds. Therefore, we can write the rate of reaction with respect to reactants as minus dx by dt, or because the concentration of reactants for this particular reaction in which we have taken A as reactant, which is producing product B, will be written as rate of reaction R is equal to minus the concentration of A divided by time period, or R is equal to minus dCA by dt. Again, the figure shows that increase in concentration of product and decrease in concentration of reactant with time. Now, since concentration of product B increases, as I told you just now, concentration of product at time t is equal to 0 was 0, now it is very high. Why? Because as time passes, reactants are converted into product and the concentration of product increases. Therefore, we can assign positive sign to the constant change in concentration or concentration term of product. Therefore, R is equal to dx by dt. This can be written as R is equal to plus dx by dt, or this Cb represents the concentration of B, which is product in the equation A gives rise to B. So we can write R is equal to plus dCb by dt, or R is equal to concentration of B divided by dt, or time. From the above, we can write rate equation as follows. Sometimes we can represent with respect to A, that is reactant, and sometimes we can write the rate equation with respect to product, that is B. So R is equal to dx by dt. In terms of reactants, it is minus dCA by dt. In terms of product, it is plus dCb by dt. Now you have to remember that it is important to note that the rate of reaction is always positive. As I told you just now, the sign convention of concentration per reactant is minus, per product is plus, is only to show that the concentration of reactant decreases as time passes and concentration of product increases as time passes. This is nothing to do with the rate. So the sign for rate is always positive. It is important to note that the rate of reaction is always positive. The sign in the above equation only indicates decrease in concentration of reactants, and for reactant product it is increase in concentration with time. Now, what the equation we have taken are the reaction between the molecules or atoms of A. Maybe it is decomposition or display, whatever it may be. A, the reactants are giving, B, the product. So the rate of product B is in, our concentration is increasing, our rate of formation of product is increasing. We can say rate of rate of reaction of formation of product increases. Now the concentration of A decreases with time. Now determination of rate of reaction. How to determine the rate of reaction? We can determine the rate of reaction by different ways. We have different ways to find or determine the rate of reaction. One is we can withdraw the reaction mixture and we can calculate the concentration or determine the concentration by volumetric analysis or by noting down the color or conductivity or refractive index or by any other method. So to determine the rate of reaction, we have first the reaction mixture from the vessel is withdrawn at regular intervals. It is chemical analysis, maybe it is volumetric analysis. Okay, the reaction mixture is withdrawn at regular intervals of time, say a time interval of 10 minutes. So at the beginning or in the beginning 0 minutes, after 10 minutes, that is 10 minutes, again after interval of 10 minutes means 20 minutes, again after 10 minutes interval, that is 20 of plus 10, that is 30. So we can find the concentration of reactants at the beginning of reaction, that is 0 minutes, then 10 minutes, then after 20 minutes of start of reaction, then after 30 minutes of the start of reaction, and so on. We can take 6 to 10 values and we can plot a curve of concentration with respect to time. 0 minutes means 0 seconds, 10 minutes, 10 minutes means 10 into 60, 600 minutes. 20 minutes means 1200 seconds. In this way, we can take the time. So the reaction mixture from the vessel is withdrawn at regular intervals of time, say 0 minutes, 10 minutes, etc. And the concentration will be calculated. How to calculate that? We can use the volumetric analysis. We can titrate the reaction mixture with any other solution like acid, base, etc. And then we will draw a graph between molar concentration of the species, reacting species C, and the interval of time T. We are determining the concentration. So we are taking C on y-axis and time on x-axis. Now, how we will do that? We will first determine the concentration at regular interval of time, say 0 minutes. Okay, time is taken on x-axis and the concentration is on y-axis. If it is reactants, time t is equal to 0 means at the beginning of the reaction it is high. Okay, it is very, very high. Red color dots or points show that concentration of reactants which are slowly decreasing. And this is the concentration of reactants in the beginning of t is equal to 0. At t is equal to 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 50 minutes, 60 minutes, 70 minutes, 80 minutes, 90 minutes means after each interval of 10 minutes. So these are drawn and we get a curve shown with red line. When we join these red points, we get a curve. Now, to find or to determine the rate, what we do is after drawing the curve or we getting the curve, we draw a tangent. What is a tangent? Tangent is a straight line which just passes touching or making contact at a point of the curve. So a line drawn which is in contact with the curve or it touches the curve. This is the tangent, that is with green dots. When green dots are joined, this is called tangent. And the slope of tangent will give you the rate of reaction. Why? The difference of y coordinate divided by difference of x coordinate will be given as slope, and it is nothing but dc, change in concentration, and this is nothing but dt, means difference in y coordinate is dc, change in concentration, divided by difference in x coordinate, that is dt, which will give you rate of the reaction. So in this way we can calculate the rate of reaction, or we can determine the rate of reaction. For a typical example in which we withdraw the reacting mixture from the vessel in which it is the way in which the reaction is going on, at regular interval of time t is equal to 0, then 5 minutes, 10 minutes. In this example, we have taken an interval of time as 5 minutes. Now, 5 into 60, 300 seconds, like that. This is molar concentration, number of moles per liter. And we have drawn a curve. Here it is shown in green color. These red dots, which are the result of the volumetric analysis, then we have joined these points to get green color curve. As I told you, slope of this curve will give you the rate. Slope means delta y, this one, by delta x, this one, or it is nothing but tan theta. So tan theta is equal to this by this will give you the rate, which is called as slope. Now in this case it is 1.06 into 10 to the power minus 2 moles per liter per second. Because rate is change in concentration by change in time or interval of time, or it can be written as rate is equal to dc by dt moles per liter per second. In several cases, the change in concentration of reactants is more conveniently determined by observing changes in certain physical properties like color, electrical conductivity, optical rotation, refractive index, etc. In the above case, we have taken an example in which chemical analysis like volumetric analysis was involved to find the concentration. Here we have some other ways to find the concentration, like we can observe the color. Sometimes it will be light color, sometimes it will be dark color, and also we can note down the electrical conductivity of that, or we can note down optical rotation, refractive index, etc. of the mixture, and then we can find the rate of reaction. For example, the rate of decomposition of N2O4 to NO2, dinitrogen tetroxide to nitrogen dioxide, can be ascertained by observing the rate of deepening the color of the gaseous mixture. Actually, NO2 is brown or brownish gas. Its color is brown. But N2O4 dinitrogen tetroxide is colorless. Means at time t is equal to 0, only N2O4 exists. As time passes, it decomposes to form NO2. Now, this mixture or the gas inside the reacting vessel will become brown or brownish white, from colorless to brown. Why? Because it is decomposed to NO2. So the color, brown color, shows the decomposition is taking place. Similarly, the rate of hydrolysis of sucrose can be determined by noting down change in optical rotation. Means some solutions of some solute rotate plane polarized light into right direction, some will rotate into left direction. So that is called optical activity. The optically active substance is that substance which can rotate the plane polarized light in any direction. Few substances are there which can rotate to right side or clockwise direction, and few can rotate it into anti-clockwise or in negative direction. Levorotatory, dextrorotatory are positive, negative, like that. So on the basis of optical rotation also, we can find the concentration of. Now, what are the units of rate of a reaction? You know that units can be derived because it is not a fundamental quantity, it is a derived quantity. Therefore, we have to derive the units. How to derive the units? First, we have to note down the unit of concentration. Concentration here, it is molar concentration, means the concentration of species is expressed in terms of molarity. Okay, molarity means number of moles per liter. Number of moles per liter is called molarity, and for time it is second. Okay, here concentration is there, so number of moles per liter, and here time is there, therefore per second. Therefore, the total units of rate of reaction will be moles per liter per second, or it can be in short written as mole per liter per second. So the units of rate of reaction are mole per liter per second. Now in decomposition of nitrogen pentoxide, here we are taking another example, which is nothing but decomposition of N2O5 into NO2 and oxygen. The reaction decomposition can be written like this: N2O5 decomposes to 2NO2 plus half O2. The rate of decomposition can be expressed in different ways as follows. Why? Because there are three things. One is reactant, which is N2O5, and we are getting two products, NO2 and O2. So we can express the rate of reaction in terms of either N2O5 or in terms of NO2 or in terms of O2. So these can be expressed in different ways, which is as follows. R is equal to concentration of N2O5 divided by time, which can be written as K1 into concentration of N2O5. Here K1 represents the rate constant and N2O5 is the reactant. In other, with respect to NO2, we can write rate of reaction, R is equal to concentration of NO2 divided by time interval, which can be written as K2 into concentration of N2O5. For oxygen, it can be written as concentration of oxygen divided by dT, which is equal to K3 into concentration of N2O5. If you see the rate equations, K1, K2, K3 are written with every rate. Now, what are these K1, K2, K3? These are rate constant. These are called proportionality constants or rate constant. Why proportionality constant? Because rate is directly proportional to the concentration. Okay, here K1 means proportionality constant, or it is also called as rate constant. Rate constant with respect to N2O5 is written as K1. Rate constant with respect to N2, when we are taking NO2, this is K2, and for oxygen it is K3. Why? Because in every we have different values for constant. Means K1 is not equal to K2 is not equal to K3. All three constants are different. Now in this, again, the progress of reaction can be seen or can be known by drawing the curve. This curve shows the decrease in concentration of N2O5 with time. As time increases, more and more N2O5 molecules will decompose to form NO2 and O2. As a result, the concentration decreases. When we plot the graph, we have to draw the slope and find the rate. One example we are taking here to know the kinetics of the reaction. It is somewhat complex. In the beginning, we have taken only A gives rise to B, which is very simple reaction, as in the case of N2O4 giving rise to NO2, like that. Here we have two reactants giving rise to two different products. Two different reactants, two different products. But we are taking A and B as a reactant, C and D as product. But what are these M, N, P, and Q? These are the number of moles of A reacting with number of moles, N number of moles of B, giving rise to P moles of C and Q moles of D. A, B are reactants, C, D are the products, M, N, P, and Q are the number of moles of A, B, C, and D, respectively. This reaction obey the rate expression as dx by dt. Actually, rate of reaction dx by dt can be given here as a constant K into concentration of A raised to the power m into concentration of B raised to the power n. Why? Because n number of moles of A reacts with n number of moles of B. Therefore, m and n are the powers of concentration terms here. Now, the order of reaction we can write here as the m order with respect to A. Why? Because m moles of A are reacting with n moles of B. So, when we consider the order of reaction in terms of A, it is mth order, and for with respect to B, it is nth order. A total order of reaction, we have to add these powers. Actually, order of reaction is nothing but the power of concentration, power of term of concentration of reactants. If more than one reaction is there, reactants are there for more than one reactants, then we have to add the power terms, M plus N. A is the concentration of reactant A. This shows the concentration of B. Then they are raised to the power M and N. So the order we can get as M plus N. So with respect to with respect to A, the order of reaction is mth order. With respect to B, the reaction is of nth order, and total order of the reaction is M plus N. So this is the order of reaction. When B is taken in large, when any reactant is taken in large, then what we have to do is we have to neglect that, because there will be no much difference found in the concentration of that reactant which is taken in large excess. For example, when we consider the hydrolysis of acetate alcohol like that, then in that case water is taken in large excess, so it will not affect. So whenever we take one of the reactant in excess, that will not affect the rate of reaction, then only the other one will have to be taken. For example, here B is taken in large, then we have to take only A. So the total the order of total reaction will be mth order in that case. And thus under such circumstances, the rate of reaction will be determined with respect to A only. We will neglect B because it is in excess. Hence, the reaction rate is, or the order of reaction will be mth order. So what is order of reaction? Order of reaction is nothing but the power of the reacting species or the reactants. We will write first the concentration terms of reactant and the power of which can give you order. If more than one reactants are there, then we have to add the powers as we did here in this case. Because in this reaction, M moles of A and N moles of B are reacting. So in concentration term, M is the power of A and N is the power of B. So the total order of the reaction will be M plus N. If any one is in excess, then we have to neglect that. Therefore, that sum M plus N will give you the order of reaction. Now we will take the factors which can influence the rate of reaction. Generally, the conditions which are called temperature, pressure, concentration, catalyst, etc., can influence the reaction. So first one is concentration. We know that as time proceeds, the concentration of reactants decreases. Okay, concentration of reactants decreases. So the rate of reaction slowly will decrease. Then how to increase the rate of reaction? We had to add the concentration of reactants. Means more and more reactants can be sent into the reacting vessel or reacting chamber. For example, if we consider the reaction between nitrogen and hydrogen, when hydrogen and nitrogen combine, they produce NH3, that is ammonia. So how the concentration of reactants influence the rate of reaction, because when reactant combine, they produce product, means their concentration will decrease, and slowly the rate of reaction will decrease. So what we have to do? We have to do that the reactants we have to pump in to the chamber where the reaction is going on, or we have to remove the product as soon as it is formed. Okay, as soon as the reactants are converted into product, we have to remove the product. So by lowering the concentration of product, we can increase the rate of reaction, or by increasing the concentration of reactants, we can increase the rate of reaction. In both way we can do. Now, effect of temperature. If we study ionic reactions are very fast. Within no time, the reaction will complete. So we cannot study the rate of reaction of ionic compounds, especially in their solution or in liquid state. As soon as you add one reactant to other, you will get the product. For example, if we add silver nitrate to tap water, generally water contains sodium chloride. Within a fraction of a second, silver nitrate and sodium chloride, which is present in tap water, exchange their ion. Immediately, they exchange their ions and they will form silver chloride and sodium nitrate. Silver chloride is white in color and will exist as a precipitate in the solution. So the colorless water will convert into white precipitate, indicating that reaction is completed within a fraction of a second. For those type of reactions in which the rate of reaction is very high, we cannot determine the rate of reaction. It is not possible. So the reaction has to proceed at moderate rate or slow. Even for covalent compounds, if a reaction is taking place or completing in more than one stages, okay, then we will consider that stage to determine the rate of reaction, which is slow. Fast step will never be considered as rate determining step, or we cannot determine the rate of a reaction which is taking place fast. So even for covalent compounds, when we try to determine the rate of reaction, we have to choose that step of the reaction, if it is a multi-step or multi-stages, which is slow, and that is called rate determining step. Now, when the reactants are covalent, generally the old bonds have to be broken so that new bonds to be made. So to break the old bond, we need energy, and energy can be supplied to reactants when its temperature is increased. In other words, the reactants are heated. So when we heat the reactants, the temperature of reactants increases and more products will form. Therefore, effect of temperature means as temperature increases, rate of reaction increases. Now, reactions will be of two types, exothermic and endothermic. For exothermic reaction, during the reaction, heat is evolved. So a reaction in which during which heat is evolved, it is called exothermic. Especially for those type of reactions at higher temperature, the rate of reaction decreases. But in the beginning, we have to heat the mixture reacting mixture, other reactants. Why? Because they need energy to break old bonds and to form new bonds. When new bonds are formed, energy will be released. Therefore, for exothermic reaction, increase in temperature will result in decrease in concentration. Whereas for endothermic reaction, where heat is absorbed, the temperature affects in this way. As temperature increases, the rate of reaction increases. Now, the effect of pressure. Again, if we study the effect of pressure, it is negligible for the reactants which are either in liquid state or in solid state, because the change in volume in those cases will be negligible or zero. So we cannot study the effect of pressure on those cases in which reactants are either liquid or in solid state. But we can study the effect of pressure when the system is gaseous system, means reactants are gases. If we take an example like formation of ammonia, in which 3 hydrogen molecules plus 1 nitrogen molecule gives rise to 2 molecules of ammonia. Here total volume of reactant is 4 and total volume of product is 2. So if we apply pressure or increase pressure, more and more product or ammonia will form. And if we decrease the pressure, the reverse reaction will take place. So effect of pressure is observed in manufacture of ammonia in this way, that if pressure is increased, more product or ammonia is formed. So high pressure is in favor of formation of ammonia. Similarly, for catalyst, okay, for catalyst, if we have a reaction in which rate of reaction is slow, we can increase the rate of reaction by adding catalyst. So catalyst enhances the rate of reaction, or any substance which enhances the rate of reaction is called catalyst. So again, if we take the process of manufacture of ammonia, we have to use a catalyst. In presence of catalyst, the rate of reaction of formation of ammonia increases. So in this way, today we discuss about the rate of reaction, and then how to determine the rate of reaction, then what factors are there which affect the rate of reaction. So with this, we will end today's lesson. Thank you all for watching the